So there are three interesting questions about leadership. Who is it that wants to be a leader? Second, who is chosen to be a leader? And then third, who makes the best leader? Now, traditionally, men have been much more likely to be leaders, to be chosen as leaders, to nominate themselves for leaders. But it turns out that men don't always make the best leaders. And in fact, although we used to think that stereotypically men are seen as more likely to be good leaders, some really interesting research by Mark van Vugt and his colleagues suggests that that's not always the case.
So in these leadership experiments, we gave scenarios to participants where they would be voting in a presidential election in their country. And we then gave them the pictures of the candidates of that presidential election. And the faces of these candidates were morphed. We used a software program for morphing, where we made a face either more masculine looking or more feminine looking. We then changed the scenario of the presidential election. Either people got to choose a president during a time of war, when they were fighting a war with their neighboring country, or during a time of peace with the neighboring country, which should at all costs be maintained. And what we were able to show is with this experiment is that people massively preferred a more masculine-looking leader at times of war, whereas they shifted towards a more feminine-looking leader during times of peace. In other studies, we also used males and females, and what we basically told them is that as a leader of their group, they could either choose for John or Mary. Now, the CVs of John and Mary were essentially the same. It was just the name revealing the gender identity of these individuals. And again, when there was a conflict induced between their group and another group, they chose for John, whereas if there was no conflict with the other group, they had a preference for Mary.
So the interesting conclusion from this research is that people often strongly prefer a female, and that's particularly true when the problem involves not conflict between our group and another group, under which circumstances people want a male, but when it involves getting along with the members of our own group or living peacefully, then people strongly prefer to have a female in a position of leadership.